Hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Nerd World. Today I'm venturing back into a sci-fi series that went before its time. I haven't touched on it much, but I've been kind of itching to because I've been kind of flicking through odd episodes of it recently. And that is Space Above and Beyond, and we are looking at the Chig fighter, one of the main antagonistic vessels from that show, used by humanity's greatest and only adversary really in that series, aside from the AIs. And before we get started into it, I should tell you that this video is brought to you in collaboration with my sponsor, Relentless Rebels, who are linked in the description below and sell jewellery, but we will get to them later in the video. Before we get started, please like, share, subscribe and comment down below. Hit the bell notification icon if you think the video is worth it, and let's just get into this thing. The standard Chig fighter was first encountered by humanity after the destruction of a human colony. These vessels were used in the beginning of the war right through to the end. Exactly when they were first brought into commission is unknown, but they are ferociously and fiercely well designed, executed and destructive little craft. They operate exclusively from either planet surfaces or large capital ships. They operate in squadrons of averagely 3, but sometimes as many as 6, and are part of a larger flight wing, usually consisting of about 18 craft as identified by satellite observations of their movements. The fighters are extremely advanced, as is much of Chig technology compared to that of humanity's. They are extremely fast and can fly close to the event horizon of a black hole, far closer than any Earthship can, even the larger capital ships. They are, though, despite their advanced technology, advanced sensors, actually comparatively lightly armed and not very maneuverable. But in a dogfight situation, don't let this make you think that the humans have any real advantage. They don't. These fighters, although are only armed with a single forward-facing energy projector, it is capable of destroying an Earth fighter in a single shot. They can withstand more damage than that from their opponents, and although the Earth fighters can massively outmaneuver them, the Chig vessels are longer range and faster. And these give them advantage. They can fire at a greater range, they can close faster and withdraw faster. The fighters have pretty much every advantage. The only advantage the Earth fighters have is they are more flexible and they are more maneuverable. But realistically, they require numbers to effectively defeat these small craft. Now, a skilled human pilot, such as a member of the 5-8, can and often has engaged one of these fighters in a head-to-head dogfight and successfully beaten them, but they also utilize very advanced, at least in some cases, stealth technology. Now this is mostly seen in a singular prototype, which I'm not going to cover here, but the fighters are generally more difficult to detect. This is mostly, though, due to the fact that Earth sensor technology is less advanced than that used by the Chig, so they can lock onto and identify targets at a greater range before the target has any idea that they are even around. The fighters are built of a biomechanical technology. They are highly integrated with their pilots and extremely responsive, almost working like an extension of the limbs of the pilot. There are two main variants of the fighter that are seen used during the war. One which has generally been seen to be a scout craft, and these are believed to carry 2 personnel on board, and another variant which is the standard fighter itself, which is far more common, which only has a single pilot. These fighters, though, aesthetically are very similar, except one has a reddish hue to its hull, and this is the one that is also known to be able to fly closer to the event horizon of a black hole than its counterpart. Otherwise, they seem to be about the same speed and have similar abilities, but there's clearly something a little different in the mix of the engines and hull integrity of the scout craft. And there we have it. These things basically wipe the floor with the hammerhead fighters and other craft used by humanity. And the Chigs also had a very diverse and complementary fleet, much like humans. These were not your average sci-fi alien who built stupid and were overconfident in their technology. The Chigs were tactically minded, strategic and very violent. They also had a concept of basically tactical thinking during combat. They didn't just try and overwhelm you with their technology or their numbers. They actually fought strategically. And these fighters, although yes, they were less maneuverable than the Earth counterparts, that didn't mean much when the Chigs had more of them. They were faster, more advanced, harder to destroy, and although not more heavily armed, they were better armed. The individual weapon was more powerful, and as an energy projector, as long as the craft didn't run out of power, it seemingly never seemed to run out of ammunition. These things just kept going, whereas an Earth fighter would have to go back and rearm either with bullets or missiles. So the Chigs had a lot of advantages. And there we have the Chig fighter. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it. But before I go, I'm going to touch on the stealth fighter a little bit, but first let me talk about my sponsor, Relentless Rebels. They are linked in the description below. They do Viking style jewelry and other such things on their website. If you follow the link in the description below and use the promo code NERD20, all in capitals, you will get a 20% discount on any of your purchases from their website. So that's promo code NERD20. Otherwise, happy shopping. Now, as I said, there was an advanced prototype fighter, which I will do a dedicated video on at some point, but I'll just quickly touch on it. It used a lot of the same basic hull points as the smaller standard fighter, but was also equipped with a stealth system, which was a more advanced version of what was carried on the other craft. It made it practically invisible. The only evidence it was around was that your sensors went a little haywire and found it difficult to lock onto anything. This fighter, if it had gone into mass production, would have likely ended the war, because it was so superior to those being used by humanity. Very little else is known about it, but as I said, I'll do a dedicated video on that and some other specialist craft, as there's not a lot of information on any one of those crafts, so I'll do a collective video bringing all those together at some point in the future. Not sure when, but I will do it. With that said, like, share, subscribe, comment down below, hit the bell notification icon if you liked this video, and come back for the next one. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you for watching, and bye bye.